to you by Thesis123.com. I learn and teach online.
Okay, so here's the next question, the second one for 2014 date paper for set 1. The question reads, let f of x equals x into e power minus x. The maximum value of the function in the interval 0 to infinity is, well, we have our 4 options here. Now, in order to find out the maximum value of a certain function, we will have to use differentiation. So we have to find out what the first derivative of f of x is, and then solve for x, and then see how the function is at the second derivative. So let's start by writing down what the first derivative of the function is. So our function given to us is f of x equals x into e power minus x. So what's the first derivative? First derivative would be f dash x. Now f dash x, if we differentiate this using UV formula, we would write this as e power minus x into 1 minus x. I'm sure you're quite familiar with the UV formula. That would be x into differentiation of e power minus x plus e power minus x into differentiation of x. So we have f dash x equals e power minus x into 1 minus x. Now for the next step, we will have to equate f dash x to 0 and solve for x. Equate f dash x to 0 and find the value of x. So here we would equate e power minus x into 1 minus x to 0. Let's do that. E power minus x into 1 minus x equals 0. So what does this imply? This implies that either e power minus x equals 0 or 1 minus x equals 0. Now the easier of the two is to take the part which is within the brackets and equate it to 0. So what happens here? We get 1 minus x equals 0, and that implies that x equals 1. Now x equals 1 is the value of x at which we will have to find out the value of y. Now think about this in the graphical form. Now what is the meaning of finding the maximum value of a function at a certain interval? Now I'm going to take two instances here. One waveform which is opening up towards the top, and the other which is opening up towards the bottom. Okay, so here this is our x and y axis. Take a look at the first graph here. Now for this waveform, the minimum most point is right about here. So at this value of x, what is the value of y? I'm just going to call it x1 and y1 for example's sake. Okay, so this is for minimum value condition. Now what about maximum value? If we are to find out the maximum value, that is in the case of this question here, at a certain point of x1, what is the value, corresponding value of y1? This is going to be our maximum point. And the value of y1 is the maximum value. I hope that makes sense. So that's what we will have to find out in this question here. So we found out what x value is. X is equal to 1. So assuming that here this is the value of x1, we will have to find out if at that point the function is first maximum or minimum. Let me just grab another sheet of paper. There. So to find out when we have a maximum or a minimum value, we will have to consider the second derivative. Find the second derivative and then see if f double dash of x is greater than 0 or f double dash of x is less than 0. Now what are these two conditions? We have already found the value of x, right? X is equal to 1. So at that point of x, we will have to see if it is greater than 0 or less than 0. Now, if the second derivative of the function is greater than 0, then that means that it has a minimum value. And if f double dash of x is less than 0, then that implies that it has a maximum value. Okay? So now let's note down what f double dash of x is. So we found that f dash of x is e power minus x into 1 minus x, right? Let's just take a quick look. Yeah. So f dash of x is e power minus x into 1 minus x. So what would f double dash of x be? So that would give us e power minus x minus of 1 minus x into e power minus x. Okay. Now let's substitute x equals 1 into this, because that's the value that we found earlier. F double dash of 1 is what we're going to find. Okay? So if we substitute x equals 1 into this equation here, we will arrive at minus e power minus 1. Now minus e power minus 1 is what? Is that greater than 0 or less than 0? Lesser than 0, because it is anyway a negative value, and we know that negative values would obviously be lesser than 0. So here we have found that the second derivative, f double dash of x, is less than 0. So what does that mean? It means that it has a maximum value. Now we need to find the maximum value. How do we find the maximum value? Let me just write that down here. To find the maximum value, we have to substitute this value here, x equals 1 into f of x, the original function given to us. So the original function given to us is x into e power minus x. Substitute f of 1, we will have e power minus 1. So this means at x equals 1, we have a maximum value point, a maximum point in the function. And that value of y is e power minus 1. So this is our final answer. So let's see which option it matches with. Option A. So option A is the final answer for this question. I hope this has helped.
Thank you for watching this video. For future videos, please click here to subscribe YouTube channel. Visit our site thesis123.com for free student project or research ideas and online training. Follow us Facebook, Twitter, Google+ and Pinterest.